Welcome back to the Popped Podcast, where we uncover real, raw, and rarely discussed truths about pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and beyond. I'm your host, Dr. Emily Muery, prenatal and postpartum chiropractor, birth doula, and founder of Move Moms That Move Chiropractic Boulder. Before I start this episode, there is a fly in here, and so if you see it, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to get it out. It's flying around. It's also distracting me. Hopefully it won't distract you. Hopefully you can't see it. We'll see. If it lands on me, we're gonna have an issue. But anyways, this episode is gonna be really fun. This is something that's really close to my heart. It's baby wearing and baby carrying. Before I really get into this episode, I want to make sure that I make this clear before we start. This episode and any of these episodes that I make are not here to criticize parents or anybody's specific way of parenting. There are thousands of ways to nurture and care for your baby. So if you're someone who has used the cry it out method, you've needed space from your baby, or you've just chosen not to baby wear as frequently as some other moms might choose to, you are still welcome here. This episode is purely to bring you another perspective, and a different perspective that looks more at the biology and history and beauty of baby wearing. This is not to say this is the one way to nurture your baby. There are hundreds and thousands of ways to nurture and care for your baby. So this is just another perspective. Just want to put that out there before we start. And honestly, I'll even add this into it. The reason why this topic is so close to my heart is because I've talked so much about it with my own mom. And she would tell you, like, in her early days of parenting, and honestly up until I have started doing more and more research on babies and moms, that I'm starting to shift her perspective and maybe ways that she would have chosen to parent differently. But with her generation, she was very in raising me and my brother, very not hard on the idea, but she wanted us to be independent. And her perspective was, if she carried us too much or picked us up every time that we were crying, that we would never learn how to self-soothe or be independent. And that is some of the major myths about baby wearing and major myths about baby wearing and baby carrying that I want to dive into, because I think that is a shared ideal across many, many, many people. And it's not always backed by some evidence. And so I want to give you guys some evidence on why that may or may not be true. And Mom, I love you. Good shout out to you, Mom. You're the best. I would not be where I am without you, whether you carried me a lot or not. So that is also to say, I'm here to tell you, I was not carried all the time, and I'm just fine. Anyways, let's get into baby wearing and baby carrying. So I wanted to start with the cultural misconceptions, which we kind of just started with. But in Western culture, we've inherited this idea that holding your baby too much will make them clingy, spoiled, or less independent. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Studies show that babies who are held more cry significantly less. A randomized controlled trial published by Pediatrics found that infants who were carried more during the day cried 43% less overall and 51% less in the evening. This is not spoiling your baby. This is you supporting their nervous system. Babies co-regulate. So every time that they cry, it's not necessarily that they are mirroring back your dysregulation. Sometimes that is the truth. A lot of times it is the truth. If you are dysregulated, your baby becomes dysregulated. But if your baby is crying, they need help co-regulating through whatever nervous system stress they're experiencing in that moment. And nervous system stress can come from a variety of different places. It can be relational, it can be environmental, it can be positional, it can be body mechanics if they're hungry. There is a lot of things that your baby is trying to adapt to and become more human to, since they're becoming their own person. But in order for them to become their own person, they have to co-regulate. And so when they're crying, they are trying to co-regulate. a lot of co-regulation comes through skin-to-skin contact and just being close to your mom. When your babies are inside of your womb, they are getting a lot of mom's natural sounds all day, becomes their daily rhythm. So mom's heartbeat, mom's lungs, the swooshes of blood coming through vessels, the movement and gurgles that your stomach makes, all these sounds are very soothing for baby. It's the first sounds that they hear and are able to what's that word, comprehend inside of your womb. That those are sounds that is mom, that is mom, that is my mom, that my mom is eating, my mom is sleeping, whatever it is, my mom's running. Maybe if you're a runner and your heartbeat increases when you run, like your baby knows you're running. Sometimes they'll just chill out, or maybe they want to move. All these different sounds inside of your body help start formulating baby's regularity with their sounds, with their nervous system function. So when your baby's dysregulated or they start crying and you pick them up, they can hear your heartbeat. They can feel your body movement. There's a lot of soothing that they get just from being next to you. So holding your baby is co-regulating or regulating their nervous system. It is not necessarily just satisfying their need for mom or cry. That need is a true biological need. They need another nervous system, the nervous system they know most, to regulate their own nervous system. So closeness builds confidence. It communicates that you are safe, you are loved, and you are not alone. That is what babies feel every time that you pick them up. We as humans become more and more independent. If you can think about being in elementary school and getting sick at school and wanting your mom to come pick you up and just make you feel good and make you feel safe. Then when you get into maybe high school and you're like, I need a break from my parents. Like, can I go hang out with my friends? Like, I could do anything, just get away from my parents and be with my friends. We build independence. We just have to get there. We age a lot slower than I think our society wishes that we could age as humans. But it takes time for us to build that independence, and our nervous systems physiologically are not able to regulate themselves until we have met certain points or our brain has met certain milestones. So if your baby is crying and needing you to regulate them frequently, there's nothing wrong with your baby. That is your baby being a baby and your baby needing their mom to regulate their nervous system. Moving on to where this whole deep love for this topic has come for me, and that was early on in my prenatal education. I heard one teacher say at one time that humans are carrying mammals, and I was like, what is a carrying mammal in comparison to maybe a non-carrying mammal? Like, what do you mean carrying mammal? The only carrying mammal, like the first thing that popped into my head was a kangaroo. Like they carry their babies, their kids for a long time. Or joeys, is that what they're called? I think that's the baby version of a kangaroo, is a joey. But they carry their babies for a really long time inside their pouches, even when they're fully able to get out and jump around. They come back and oh my gosh, they come back and they get in their mom's pouch. So let's take a look at carrying mammals from this biological, physiological standpoint. Humans being carrying mammals. When we look at mammals, there's 3 types of mom-baby partnerships. So we have nest dwellers. This is more like dogs and cats who leave their young in a safe place and return back to feed them. Obviously, nest like bird. So their kin or their babies stay in one spot. Mom leaves, goes and gets food or regulates herself through food, drink, water, and then comes back and takes care of her babies. Follow behind mammals like deer or horses whose babies are neurologically mature enough to walk to birth and then to be birthed and almost walk immediately. Obviously, that is not us. I've never seen a baby walk out of the womb or be born and then start walking. That's just not humans. However, we see that all the time. Maybe you see it on Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels of animals being birthed, like our horses, giraffes. I've seen zebras. They're birds, and then immediately within like the first hour, they are up on their feet trying to learn how to walk. Those are follow behind mammals. They are traveling long distances anyways. It has become part of their evolution that they need to be born and get up and walk because they're probably already on the move. And then we have our carrying mammals, like primates, marsupials, marsupials, and humans whose babies are born underdeveloped and rely on being held close to survive. It's not that your baby's underdeveloped, but there's lots of developing that your baby has to have before they can walk, crawl, other way around, crawl, walk, talk, all the things. So these babies are carrying mammals. These babies cling to their mothers constantly, sometimes for years. We are not wired to leave our babies behind. We are wired to carry them, respond to them, and help them regulate through their bodies. So, because you are wired, you're literally wired to want to help your baby, to soothe your baby, it's okay if you are not feeling that wiredness, but that is something to be aware of. If you are like, I am not drawn to go pick up my baby, I'm, which I'll get to in just a second, I'm overtouched out and I just can't keep carrying my baby. A lot of times that tells me it's not the amount of time you're spending with your baby, it's the amount of regulation you have in your own nervous system. So when I work with moms postpartum who are experiencing this particular situation with their baby where they need space, they're constantly looking for space. They're like, I can't get enough space for my baby. It feels like I am always needed, which is true. Your baby is probably constantly wanting you and needing you. For those moms, a lot of times we are looking at regulating their nervous system so that they can provide that regulation to their baby. If moms are dysregulated in their nervous system, it's going to be really hard for them to focus and regulate their baby when they're out of regulation. There are very specific cues. We talked about this in the last episode. There are very specific cues and sounds that your baby makes that your brain is trying to attune to and adjust and continuously move and shift how it can pull information and recognize different things. Your body and your brain is trying to become more attuned to your baby, but if you are so dysregulated that you cannot continually become more attuned to your baby, it's going to be really difficult for that attachment to continue to grow. So if that attachment is feeling really detached with your baby, or you're feeling like, man, like we need space from each other, maybe you do need a little space, and you maybe probably need, not maybe, you definitely need an adjustment. So this is my shout out to chiropractors postpartum. Please go see your chiropractors postpartum. Just because your baby is amazing and taking all of your attention does not mean that you don't need to take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself and regulating your nervous system is truly going to help you regulate your baby's nervous system and help that caring mammal instinct feel more natural and less like a chore, or like, man, my life has shifted so much that I always have to carry my baby and I'm annoyed by it. We don't want this negative feeling to come with baby wearing and baby carrying. This is natural and this is supposed to be biologically normal for you and your baby. So if you're feeling that detachment, go get adjusted. All the way coming back to our carrying mammals. You shouldn't totally feel that detachment. Most of my moms don't. They feel like, poor dad just isn't can't, like, baby does not like dad. That's normal because baby wants to be held by mom so much. Baby knows mom's nervous system, knows mom's sounds, knows mom's heartbeat, knows mom's internal workings. So a lot of times baby is going to prefer mom for those first couple months. Usually a lot longer than the first couple months. Moving on to the biological and emotional need to be held. Holding your baby isn't just comforting, it's essential for development. It regulates their heart rate, breathing, and temperature. It supports digestion and reduces colic. It boosts oxytocin for both of you, and it helps milk production with breastfeeding. All of this on top of it calms the nervous system. We just talked about that. So if it's not calming your nervous system, we probably need to regulate your nervous system via adjustment, chiropractic adjustment. Okay, so with all those points that I just said, the heart rate, the digestion, the oxytocin, milk production, breastfeeding, all that stuff, science backs this up in a couple different ways. I have just 2 studies right here. First one I have is a 2010 study from the University of Washington that found responsive caregiving and physical contact, including carrying and skin-to-skin contact or contact naps, are directly associated with greater executive function in children. That's focus, memory, emotional control. All 3 of those, focus, memory, emotional control, we think about things that we're hoping our kids are able to do in school, or we're trying to get them ready to go do in school or learn or become more adaptive humans. We need a really regulated focus, memory, and emotional control. And a lot of this is learned and attuned through being held by our moms through our early stages of life. The second study I have is oxytocin, the bonding hormone, rises within 10 minutes of baby wearing or touch. That's for both mom and baby. It lowers cortisol, stress, our stress hormone. It boosts milk supply and protects against postpartum depression. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of really amazing helps and needs that moms need early postpartum. Stress is probably at an all-time high or a new different state of high, just learning how to be a mom and take care of a new baby. Boosting milk supply can be extremely beneficial depending on how your birth went. If there were any interventions or anything that was keeping you from having that initial supply or latch, this is going to be really, really helpful in recreating those normal body functions without doing a lot of things to your body other than just wearing your baby. How cool. Okay, so moving on, we have practical baby wearing, how to wear your baby. Now that we understand why carrying matters, let's talk about how and where and when and what we're doing when we're carrying our baby. Before I get into how different ways that you can wear your baby, I want to do a doula mama yoga teacher spotlight on Sarah Heeb. If you want to see baby wearing, what baby wearing can look like in real life, go check out Sarah Heeb. I'll put it up here. I'll put it in the show notes. She's also a doula. She's a prenatal yoga teacher. So let's get into those products. Baby wearing is a beautiful way to meet your baby's needs while also loving and living your own life, and especially when they're taking naps. It's nice to have your arms available while you're still having a contact nap. Grocery shopping, walking your dog, or even just soothing a fussy baby, it all becomes more doable when you are hands-free or have access to your baby being as close to your body as possible. So here are a few options. We have stretchy wraps. They're really great for skin-to-skin contact for newborns. A lot of our stretchy wraps can come with a ring or like a D-ring setup. They're awesome. They're stretchy. They're really comfortable. They're really movable. They can really adjust to fit your posture or your needs for wherever you are trying to baby wear. They do take a little bit more time to put onto your body because you're usually wrapping a really long, if you imagine like a scarf that is 2 times the length, they're really long and they kind of take a second to get set up on your baby. But as you learn your own routine of putting it on, it's just like putting on a uniform for a sports activity. I was going to say sports performance because I was a dancer. So I would be putting on a costume for dance, but maybe it's your hockey attire. So I don't know. Whatever that means to you. It is just like putting on your sports apparel. You will get there. It will become more normal and more routine for you once you figure out the way that you really like to have it wrapped. Then we have ring slings. this is more what I was just talking about with rings in it. A lot of the stretchy wraps don't have rings. Some of them do, though, where you can add in a ring so that you can pull back and make the wrap tighter. There are specific ring slings that are less wrapping around your body than with a ring. Ring slings often have one ring at the top and it is like a crossbody. It's very similar to like if you have a, a broken arm or a broken shoulder in at any time of your life and you have a sling on it. It's very similar to that. It just wraps around your chest and your back. Super cool. I personally don't have a baby, so I'm not wearing my baby often. I don't know how a lot of these feel. That's why I said go check out Sarah. She gives you not only how to do it, but she gives you her own insight as well. There's also tons of creators out there who share their baby wearing. I know Emily Kaiser just shared how she wears her baby with a stretchy wrap. Different than I've seen Sarah do it, different than I've seen moms at our own office do it. So lots of different ways. We have the soft and structured carriers like Ergo or Tula. These are more ergonomic. You do have to be thoughtful, which my chiropractic brain has to be really gentle around baby wearing because I know how biologically necessary it is for the body and for the baby and for mom. Sometimes some of these carriers are not the best posture supporters, or rather encourage more poor posture. So some of these you do have to be thoughtful about how you are actually strapping baby in, not just baby, but yourself. How is it changing your posture when you're putting baby into the carrier? That's my one. Dr. Emily, be thoughtful about how you're using these carriers. Then I have the woven wraps. These are supportive, customizable, and gorgeous once you learn to use them. And then we have some newer ones. One specifically that I first saw on TikTok and then saw my super close friend Sarah wearing it all the time with her baby, and that's the Tush Baby. This one specifically, I see some changes in lower back posture and structural changes just in the lower spine. However, it's so functional, it's so usable because it's not using all of your body. It's literally like a fanny pack with a little extra supported seat for your baby. Her baby specifically loves to stand and move and get up and out, and but he also likes to be held. So this works really well for them because every time he's ready to be held, she can pop him up onto the seat and they're good to go. However, she notices she uses it all the time at home, and sometimes she leans into that side where her baby sits and it wraps around her low back. So it's pretty supportive. However, if you're leaning into it, you're relying on a fanny pack essentially to support your lower back. So when the fanny pack's off or the Tush Baby's off, it can feel like there's some instability in that lower back and lower pelvis. Again, these are all great ways. I've just on my chiropractic side of like, make sure that we're keeping your spine safe too. Sarah gets adjusted every single week. That's my other small piece of input. If you're wearing your baby and your baby likes one specific way, that is the one way your baby likes to be carried or worn, and that's your guys' go-to, continue getting adjusted. Not only do I work with prenatal and postpartum moms, I work with moms who are like my mom, 28 years postpartum, and they will always say like it's just never been the same since those early years of parenting or motherhood. And a lot of times that's because of the different ways they're carrying and holding on to baby. So it's okay if your life is forever changed by your baby. That's probably going to stand true no matter what. However, your spine, we don't want it to be forever changed by your baby. We do want there to be some stability and some support. Not only do co-regulate and support your baby's need for that regulation through your nervous system, but for you, so that your spine, your nervous system can be regulated and functioning for you once your baby doesn't need it anymore. So, and by the way, your babies always need your nervous system. I always need my mom to soothe me, and I'm 28 years old. I'm sure if you're listening to this and you have the availability to talk or be comforted or soothed by your mom, you would agree that moms are moms forever, and they're always providing that soothing comfort, even just tone when they talk to you or hug. I love my mom's hugs. So, anyways, I don't even know where I got off on that tangent. But so all of that to say, get adjusted, stay adjusted regularly, especially when you are in early motherhood. A lot of my mamas do find a really awesome routine specific way that they carry and hold their babies. Usually by 6 months, they have their one baby carrying way or their one wrap that they really like, or they transition. Like Sarah, I was just talking about, they for a long time were in the baby Bajourn, and then when he was ready to move and be a little bit more active, they've shifted to the tush baby. Everybody's different. Whatever works for you works for you. And I'm really happy for you once you find that. Just continue to get yourself adjusted to make sure that your body is adjusting to these new routines and these new significant amounts of time that you're spending in one position or one posture or one holding position with your baby, whatever it is. Continuing to get adjusted will allow your body to release that tension that you build up throughout the week in those really familiar routine positions. Last couple things, I do want to have a good, serious discussion about being touched out. We've almost touched on it a couple times throughout this episode, but I want to have a real talk about it now, because holding your baby is beautiful, it's beneficial, it's physiological, it's necessary, but being touched out is real. It is real. If you are experiencing that right now, know that I see you and you are not alone. Being touched out is real. Being touched out means that your nervous system feels overstimulated, like your skin is buzzing, or like you just need a moment alone. This is incredibly common postpartum, especially if you are also breastfeeding, baby wearing, or co-sleeping. The more time you spend touching and around your baby, the more or the higher chance you have of this happening. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Remember, I just said, if this is happening to you, it's okay. It is normal to have this experience. Yeah, I have a study from the Journal of Perinatal Education. 75% of new moms report feeling overstimulated by physical demands in the early weeks after birth. This is your body learning its new capacity and adapting to the change of being a mother. Like I talked in last week's episode about your brain changing so that you could be more physically and mentally attuned to your baby, the same thing happens. Your body has to become attuned, and it takes time. We are in a society where we like things to happen overnight. For the most part, a lot of body changes, significant physical experiences or adaptations to new phases of life, they take time. They take a lot of time. It took you 10 months to grow a baby. It's gonna take a couple months for you to attune and adapt to having that baby outside of your womb. And instead of just being hands-free inside and doing all your things, now baby's outside and they need you to care for them the same way you were caring for them inside, but now on the outside. That's a huge change. And I mean, there's another human in your home. There are a lot of adaptations your body, your brain, your home needs to make in order for this transition to actually occur. It doesn't mean it's going to be a smooth transition. Sometimes I think we see what looks like smooth transitions on Instagram or Facebook. But again, those are just filtered highlights of somebody's life. We all have our own transitions through different life at different times in different emotional states and different physical states, and it's okay to have your own experience. It's okay for it to not be smooth. It's okay for it to take time to become smooth and feel like you're really doing it. It takes time, and that's okay. Here's another reminder that it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to take breaks. You do not have to carry and hold your baby and wear your baby and co-sleep with your baby all the time. A lot of times when you're having these touched out moments, you do need a break in order for your body to re-regulate, in order for you to help regulate your baby. Sometimes you need a break, and that's okay. You're not less attached. You're not a bad parent. You're not a bad mom. You're human. Live with my little brother. If he pokes me enough times, I'm touched out, and he's not a baby. So everybody has their own experiences, their own physical allowances and grievances, and it's okay if your body takes time to adapt to these new demands or requests for skin to skin or just contact. So this is your reminder to take breaks. You're not a bad parent if you need a break. You're not a bad mom if you feel touched out and you need to hand your baby off. It's okay. You are human. Every human gets touched out or overstimulated to some degree in some manner. So it's okay if you need a break. Try to step back, maybe take a shower, hand your baby off to a partner or support person. I always recommend trying to get movement in your body, even if it's just a walk outside, or if you lay on the ground and put your feet up like up the wall, it can really shift all of the blood circulation from bottom of the body to the top of the body. It can give you a totally new shift in your physiological mechanisms for the day. It can shift your mood, it can shift your energy, it can wake you up. And that's just laying on the ground and putting your feet up in the air. Imagine going on a walk, getting sunlight, actually maybe doing some squats, maybe doing some arm movement, whatever it is. Getting some movement in your body can really help bring you back to you and remind you that you can move within your own skin. A lot of times when you're spending skin to skin contact or some sort of contact with your baby, you two become one. And it feels like you're moving a lot through your baby because you are caring and attending to their every need. When you're able to step back and get movement in your own body, you're able to remember that this muscle is used for me, that I can help myself with my own body. It's not just a muscle to help my baby stand up or sit up or whatever it is. So I always recommend trying to get some sort of movement back into a portion of your day. If you guys are on a great sleeping schedule or happen to have naps, or maybe you're not on a great schedule, your baby finally goes down for a nap, try to find a little bit of movement, because I think it really can shift how you parent and work with your baby when you have your own self and remember that your body belongs to you. It also helps you get out of that being touched out state. At the end of the day, baby wearing is not what's going to make you a perfect parent. However, it can make you a more present parent. It's about offering your baby the closeness that they crave while also honoring your needs. It's why we offered some carrying options in this episode. All these different ways can help you create that closeness that your baby wants and needs, while also giving you the capacity to do different things. Maybe you have multiple kids and you need to take care of a toddler running around, or you need to clean, or maybe you're working and you do some work at home and you're able to use your computer while you're baby wearing. There are so many different ways that baby wearing can help make your pre-pregnancy life feel more adaptable, because you can do stuff with your baby just close to your body. Whether you carry your baby every day or only sometimes, whether you are snuggled with them close to your chest at night or you put them in a bassinet, you are already doing amazing. You should be really proud of yourself for everything that you've already done in motherhood, or that you're going to do in motherhood. Your baby does not need perfection. They're not expecting perfection from you. They just need their parent. They just need their mom. And they just want connection. They want some form of connection. And a lot of times that comes through skin to skin. A lot of times we don't have all the time in the world to do skin to skin contact. So sometimes that needs to happen through baby wearing. So if you are in a bubble of trying to figure out how to carry your baby and spend all the time with your baby, but you can't figure out how to wear them, look up Sarah Heeb, look up other influencers who show you how to use different baby wearing and carrier things. Also, don't beat yourself up if you need to buy multiple different carriers to figure out which one works best for you. I have a lot of moms who are like, I tried this, hated it. Tried this, didn't like it. Tried this, it was squeezing her legs. Whatever it is, it's okay if it takes you multiple carriers to figure out what works best for you. It's also okay if you find that carrying does not work for you. Maybe it's or wearing. Maybe it's carrying that works best for you, like actually carrying your baby. Whatever it is, take your time to figure out. It doesn't have to be figured out on the first week postpartum. It doesn't even have to be figured out by the first month. It takes time. Your baby is going to evolve. You're going to evolve. Your body's going to change. Different wraps are going to feel different on your body at different times during postpartum recovery. So give yourself some grace. Give yourself a pat on the back for everything you've already done or everything that you've tried to learn. Hopefully that was helpful. I think there's, like I've said in all of our episodes, there's so much advice to go around across so many different platforms. We make so many things so complicated about what baby needs, what mom needs, what's going to be best for baby. Babies like contact. Babies like to be carried. We are now in a society where we have hundreds of different tools and actual physical things to help hold our babies close to our bodies. So let's use these tools that we have and really lean into that natural biological need that our babies need, and that's to be held. We can meet society's needs of needing to do a bunch of things with our physiological needs, which is to be still and slow and simple. We can put the two together and we can make, and I've seen so many moms do this, make a really successful mom-baby connection and relationship through baby wearing and baby carrying. So this is just one piece of advice for all the other things that we'll continue to talk about in and through this podcast. So if this episode was helpful for you, insightful for you, if you know any other mamas or maybe your mom who has different perspectives on baby wearing or baby carrying, share this episode with them. We love to share new perspectives, keep our minds open, and really accept moms for all the different ways that they parent and nurture their babies. This is just one. So, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, leave me a review. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Until next time, I hope you guys have a great week. I'm Dr. Emily, and you've been listening to the Popped Podcast.